Yep, it fits.
Well, that doesn't prove anything.
What about this?
Where did you get it?
It was in Archer Cole's pocket. What were you doing outside the drawing room window last night?
I wanted to be sure that he was alone.
Why?
For weeks we had been negotiating for the sale of his collection to the museum at Milan. It meant everything to me. He kept raising the price, but on Monday we came to an understanding. And I cabled the museum that I had succeeded. And last night he turned me down because he saw me with Miss Delafield.
Let me explain. Archer was extremely jealous of me.
Well, you can't blame him for that.
You went there to threaten him, didn't you?
Which I had every right to do. I told him I would use any means to make him fulfill his contract. He laughed at me, said that he would smash every piece in his collection before he'd let me have it.
So you picked up the poker and did a little smashing on your own account, eh?
I did not.
Let me have that fragment, will you? Thank you. You know how that was broken?
Tin yellow bars.
With blood stains on the inside and your fingerprint on the outside.
I don't know.
Sergeant, I think you better book him.
Right.
Thank you.
Come on. Let's get out of that monkey suit. Let's get going. Come on.
Don't worry, I'm not running away.
You telling me? I suspected the Italian all along.
Exactly. But why should Grassi also stab Brisbane? And what about the Doberman? You see, Markham, we have nearly all the pieces of the puzzle, but none of them seems to fit.
Here we are.
This isn't it. This is the basement. I know. Come on. I just want to see where this goes.
Good evening, sir.
Gamble? By the way, how long have you been using that name?
All my life, sir.
Dubard checked Gamble's fingerprints at the Identification Bureau, and who do you think he turns out to be? Not Gamble? No. Atlantic Eddie. He used to work the boats on both sides of the ocean.
Honestly, Mr. Vance, I haven't turned a trick in 5 years.
Oh, that's all right, Eddie. I just wanted to let you know that we're old pals.
Sir, someone slipped in the back door and went into one of the front rooms.
Well, Miss Delafield.
Don't be surprised, gentlemen. I'm used to coming in here like this.
You seem to know your way around here pretty well.
As the district attorney, you're responsible for this case, aren't you?
That's right.
Well, I'm tired of detectives. I'm tired of being spied on. All you want to know is who killed Archer Coe, isn't it?
Naturally.
Well, I did.
What?
Yes. And there isn't a jury on earth will convict me when they hear my story. You don't believe me, do you? You were wondering this afternoon how my dog, Figaro, could get into this house. Well, he was following me. He was defending me when he was struck.
Well, where did you kill Mr. Cole?
In his bedroom.
What kind of lipstick do you use?
Lipstick? What's that got to do with it?
Is that yours?
Yes, that's mine. While I was struggling with Archer, my bag dropped on the floor and everything spilt out.
Won't do, Miss Delafield. It's an old trick.
It's not a trick.
I didn't realize that you were so fond of Mr. Grassi.
Mr. Grassi has nothing to do with it. Take me down to the station. I'll say nothing more until I get an attorney.
Help! 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 Help!
This guy's been stabbed, hasn't he?
Is this it, Mr. Vance? Yes, that's it. Thank you very much.
First you spoil my breakfast. Then you break up my lunch. Now you pull me out of bed in the middle of the night. And this fellow not even dead.
Why don't you put that in your report, Doc?
Those fingerprints would never pick up on that silk handle. But it fits perfectly. Where did you find it, Sergeant?
Under the bed?
Congratulations.
That's all right, Mr. Vance.
3 crimes with the same weapon, Markham.
Tom, what is it? What's happened?
I don't know, dear. Somebody stabbed me.
Is it serious, Doctor?
Oh, no. I gave him 3 grains of sodium amytal to quiet his nerves. He'll be all right. I'd like to rent a room here till they finish this case.
Poor darling. I wish I hadn't got you mixed up in all this.
You shouldn't have come here. Let me see this through alone.
Oh, I won't leave you. Can't we get away from here?
We leave tomorrow. Together.
Well, what do you think about it, Doc?
Well, the thrust punctured the median basilic vein and caused a hemorrhage.
Could the wound have been self-inflicted, Doctor?
I'm the city butcher, not the detective. Don't bother me with any murders after 3 tomorrow. I'm going to the World Series.
Hey, Doc, pull me the score between these, will you?
Get these people out of this. What are they waiting for?
We just want to ask you a few questions, Sir Thomas. You say that when you were stabbed, you saw nothing, huh?
That's right. It was dark. I heard a noise and jumped out of bed. Somebody threw a chair and just missed my head and struck the window. I shouted for help and ran towards the door. Then I felt a sharp pain in my arm as I lost consciousness.
Knife for a ghost. That's a hot one. I think he done it himself.
How dare you?
That's not fair.
Do you know anything about that?
Where'd you find it?
Under your bed.
I never saw it before.
Yeah. Like I never saw a pair of handcuffs.
You've no right to question him now in this condition.
Rather funny. You see what I see in Archer Cole's room? I have a suspicion that whoever killed the Coles came from this house. Probably from this room. Gentlemen, I think I can fit the pieces of this jigsaw puzzle together. Now, here is East 71st Street. This is the Cole house, the yard, and the apartment house next door. Now, let's have a look inside. This is a McDonald's apartment. Directly opposite is the window of Archer Cole's bedroom. Underneath McDonald's apartment is the cozy little nest of Miss Delafield and her temporary guest, Mr. Grassi. This is the elevator, and here are the stairs that lead directly to the back entrance. From there, it's easy to reach the back entrance to the Cole house across the yard. Now, that's the front hall, and here's the library. On Wednesday evening, between 7:30 and 8 o'clock, Archer Cole was sitting alone in that room. Now remember, it was the servant's night off. The killer must have known this when he came in the back door. He was so intent upon what he was planning to do that he must have left the back door open, because from somewhere in that vacant lot came a dog, a Doberman Pinscher, belonging to Doris Delafield. He saw the back door standing open and went in. Meanwhile, the killer was moving along the hall toward the library, making absolutely sure that Archer Cole was alone. He knew exactly where he was going and exactly what he was going to do. He came so silently that it must have startled Archer Cole when he looked up and saw him carefully closing the door. It is my conjecture, gentlemen, that a terrific argument took place. Archer Cole must have struck him, and as he fell back, he picked up the poker as the first weapon that came into his hand. He struck Archer Cole on the head. Cole collapsed across the desk, his hands groping in the drawer of the desk for his gun. Then, in a blind rage of the moment, the killer saw a Chinese dagger. He seized it and stabbed Archer Cole in the back. Cole probably fell to the floor. Meantime, our Doberman Pinscher was coming closer and closer, probably attracted by the sound of the struggle in the library. As the killer opened the door to escape, he saw the Doberman Pinscher in the hall coming toward him. He again picked up the poker as the dog entered the room. True to the instinct of his breed, the dog sensed an enemy. He leaped. The killer struck, and the dog fell, badly wounded. Now he tried to hide the dagger in the Tingya vase. He dropped it too hard, and the porcelain broke into bits. He picked up the dagger.